How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We are talking about the AIRBNB IPO today because it is coming out about December 10, where you can start trading it. I want to talk about the company, whether I'm buying or selling, what I think about their revenue, what they've been doing recently throughout the pandemic. And I think this is really important because this is a high growth company that's in the hospitality business, which has been beaten down this year, but it's also kind of a tech company. So it is something that should definitely be on your radar. So before we get into it, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, I really appreciate that. Also hit subscribe if you haven't hit subscribe. We're on the road to 40,000 subscribers. We're almost there. Also, if you want some free stocks through WeBull, I just got confirmation that they are keeping the 4 free stocks. So they said that they were going to end it, but they actually revamped it for a little bit longer. So you can check out the link down below, deposit $100, get those 4 free stocks through WeBull. And then also, if you want to know exactly what I'm buying and when I'm selling, you can definitely check out the link down below to Patreon. So before we get into it, I just want to give the disclaimer that there are people working above me, so I apologize if it's loud or anything like that. I've had this going on for weeks. If you remember a couple weeks ago, I did this video here. That million would pull up the and it is pretty distracting, but I will do my best to focus. So AIRBNB is going to be traded under the ticker ABNB. That's going to come on December 10, like I said. Just a little background on the company. They had a growth rate of about 40% in 2018. From 2009 to 2019, they had a compounded growth rate of about 153%. They mentioned last year that they want to take the company public in 2020. The pandemic kind of delayed this, and it caused their valuation to go down all the way down to $18 billion. Now, they revealed recently that they had some difficulties throughout the pandemic, but they're starting to come back. So overall, they've brought in about $2.5 billion in revenue for the first 9 months this year, which was about $3.7 billion last year for the first 9 months. So it is down a little bit. However, I will say they are recovering nicely. They brought in about $1.34 billion in revenue just last quarter, which again is down from the quarter the year before, but they were also able to bring some net income in, about $219 million, which is a pretty significant amount based on their $1.34 billion in revenue, so about 15 to 20% margin on that. I honestly don't think that's that bad for the pandemic and what's happening right now. So, this is a company that is going to be traded soon. I could definitely see it popping off. Right now, it is priced to be about $50 per share. They increased this recently, so they, again, were going to be valued at about $18 billion, but then they waited a little bit longer. They said that they were going to go up under about $35 billion of valuation. So I think that this is a pretty high amount to pay for them, since just a couple months ago they were valued at $18 billion. However, I will say, if they're able to continue to increase from where they are now, based on Q3 numbers, they're looking at maybe about $5.2 billion worth of revenue, which would put them at a price to sales ratio of about 7. They're also looking at about $900 million or so in net income, which, let's just run that up to $1 billion. That means that they would be selling at a price to earnings ratio of about 30 or 35. That's not too bad for a growth stock like this. I mean, when you compare it to some other companies that are growth stocks too, you can take a look at Amazon. They were trading at a trailing 12-month PE of about 93. Microsoft was at a PE ratio, or is at about PE ratio of about 35. Facebook is about 32. So I think overall this isn't that bad a price to earnings ratio. Now, I will say though, this is assuming they are able to continue this, and there are peak seasons for traveling. I think that overall though, that this might be a really interesting company to invest in. Again, pretty speculative at this point because of the pandemic, because of everything that could happen. And that is the risk factor that I see in this company, is the fact that we could have another spike of the virus cases. Now, there still have been a good number of them recently and in Q3. However, they state in one of these articles that a lot of people are trying to use Airbnb to kind of get away from where they're at now, to go out into the wilderness essentially and be able to escape the city life. So I would understand that too. I think that overall, this is a good company for the next 10, 15 years. It is a pretty high barrier of entry company because there aren't a lot of other options that are scaled up at Airbnb size. So they're able to help out their hosts. They're able to give them more business than a lot of other people. A lot of people will go through Airbnb too because it has the most number of listings too. So they might not be willing to use a different website that maybe isn't as well known. They're willing to pay maybe a little bit extra, or maybe they don't even have to pay extra. They're just willing to use Airbnb because that's what they know. It's usually a lot cheaper than something like a hotel if you're looking for a group. So this is a company that I think has a bright outlook. Now, I'm not investing on IPO day. I think that, we could see it go up drastically right away. If you feel like taking that risk, you can definitely do that. But I think that usually these IPOs typically go up and then come back down a little bit. So I'm going to wait a little bit. I think this will be one that sees wide swings at first because a lot of companies will start buying in. A lot of investors will start buying in even after the IPO day. Some people might wait a week or 2 weeks and then start buying in. So I think there's going to be a lot of volatility, especially because it will be so tied to the pandemic numbers and how people feel about the general market too. We will see a lot of wide swings. So I'm going to wait a little bit to see how it goes and then make my decision a little bit further in. But definitely do your own research. I could be wrong on this. It seems like a very interesting company, though, that has high growth. Again, 40% growth rate in 2018. It could be a little bit less than that. Obviously, 2019 to 2020, it's actually gone down a little bit. But I think as we reopen, it will continue to go up. It will continue to increase. We've been seeing a lot more hosts. We've been seeing a lot more trips recently than we saw before. So definitely check out this company. Pay attention to it on IPO day and the days following. See where it goes and determine whether you want to invest. They aren't actually diluting the shares that much. They're not selling that much of this company. They're only selling about $2.5 billion with their initial public offering. So I kind of like that. I like the fact that the original investors aren't really trying to cash out. You can see here that they're trying to sell about $96 million worth of stock in the IPO. But generally, they're just offering up some shares, trying to increase their cash position, maybe expand a little bit, or just be able to weather the storm again if there is something that comes up. You can see that they did raise some debt this year, so they might be looking to pay this off. So definitely, again, check out this company. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. If you guys want to know when I buy this and when I sell it, you can definitely check out the link down below to Patreon. Also, if you want those for free stocks through WeBull, definitely check that out. Again, we never know how long this is going to last with WeBull because they, sometimes they up it, sometimes they keep it the same, sometimes they drop off the free stocks. So definitely check out that link down below for WeBull. And thank you for hitting subscribe and hitting the like button. If you want to see the stocks that I think could 2x, 5x, or even 10x over the coming year, definitely check out this video that I made from earlier today. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in this video.